Jim Bruner. Love it. He's coming in from Ohio. I'm going to unmute him. This guy is a serial inventor. He's been doing this for over 20 years. Loves working with young inventors. He's an adventurer. Take it away, Mr. Bruner.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. I am exactly what you said. I absolutely love the human impulse to invent. Being a kid myself once, I spent a lot of time alone and unsupervised. So I invented my world. That's all literature is. That's all engineering is. That's all being an adult really is inventing yourself through time. And the instinct in a child and all of the kids and parents watching me is exactly what the world needs right now. We need to make a new way of thinking about ourselves and how we interact with the world. And Dacia, it's hilarious that you think I'm in a mall. I'm actually in a state-of-the-art research and development STEM learning prototype lab, but we're under social distancing right now, so it's just a background. If you want to see what my real background looks like, I can quickly show you. That's what it looks like, but this is where I live. So I'll stay here since the other one looks like an abandoned mall. So I live in Columbus, Ohio. I am an industrial designer by trade. So my instinct is to create things for use. And my specialty was designing for disassembly. And this was back in the last century, in 1980, because I saw ahead of schedule that the world was going to have a real problem with things. So it became very important to me to invent things that mattered. And in 2000, when I first met Julie and I go way back, I saw these young people who were looking at the world.
I was 9 then. I was 9 years old.
She was just a child herself, who just wanted to change the world. And they wanted to do it on their terms. And I absolutely fell in love with that. So for me, I'm of two minds. One of them is I want to support children who want to change the world. I also want adults to understand that kids have the power to change the world. You have permission. It is absolutely necessary for you to do this, and you have everything it takes to make this happen. You have kindness, you have empathy, you have knowledge, you care about people, and you want to be a better person and make the world a better place. That's all it requires. Two hats. So back to my adult hat. And so what I do during the day is I am the Sultan of Systems at the PASS Foundation. And you ask, what's the Sultan of Systems? A Sultan of Systems is exactly what it sounds like. I make everything happen so other people can do amazing things. I love that I get to do that. I have 2 degrees, if degrees even matter anymore. One of them is in industrial design, which I told you about. My second one is in computer science and information technology. So the internet was my playground for 2 decades. It still is. But I saw that coming as well, and that people were hungry for the ability to express themselves the way they saw themselves, and they wanted other people to see them as they saw themselves. And that's really what the impulse to invent is about. Any kid, I don't care if you're a kindergartner or if you're in 12th grade or if you're my age, some undisclosed age above 45, you want to make the world a better place. And if you don't, then you might want to rethink your life. But most people want the world to be better. They want it to be better for them. They want it to be better for the world. And mostly, they want it to be better about the people they care about. Mostly their family at that age. And I am absolutely shocked, constantly shocked, by the level of imagination that comes out of these kids. And I'm sure Julia, Carmine, and Dacia can all agree with me on this point. One of the most fantastic inventions I've ever seen, I saw last year. It was a young 12-year-old boy who invented a series of and he has patents, so I'm not betraying anything, a series of 5-gallon buckets. And in those 5-gallon buckets that stacked on top of each other, he had a solar panel for power. And then inside that, he had 3 hypersonic jewelry cleaners that your mom uses to clean her jewelry. And in the next bucket, he had UV lights, 3 of them, like you see at Kroger or any grocery store when you walk in, there are UV lights. And in the next bucket, the ultrasonic, and in the last bucket, UV. And what this was designed for, was designed to be shipped to his family in Bangalore, who have a real problem with fresh water. So he invented this system, which he calls the Ultra 2, ultrasonic, ultraviolet, and it sterilizes water in 5 minutes at 5-gallon increments. All because he cared about his cousin who contracted a deadly disease called cholera, which comes from human waste and gets in water, and it's extremely dangerous. And he came up with a solution. It doesn't have to be that level, but you do need to care, and you need the ability to ask yourself, what do I care about, and why do I care about that? And then the third component that you need the ability to record what you care about and make it known to other people. This is what I was thinking. This is why I was thinking it. And this is what I intend to do. And as president of the Ohio Invention League and the Ohio Invention Convention, I've been pushing kids to do this for 20 years, because every time I see a 9-year-old child just slay with her empathy, compassion, and talent, it makes me want to be a better person. So for me, the 2 hats are about encouraging kids to own their power, their genius, and the ability to change the world through that. Encouraging adults to give them room to do it and listen, and then be inspired to do the same thing. Because all of us need to be world-changing advocates. We're at a time we've never been before globally. We have 3 climate or apocalypses, if you will, that's the wrong word, challenges. Climate change, we have technology advancement where we can't keep up with it, and we have income inequality where people don't have what they need. All 3 of those are impacting us simultaneously. And if ever we needed an entire generation of young people to step up and say, I have an answer for that, it's now. So that's why I agreed to be part of this. I'm super proud to be part of this. I believe in the power of children. I believe in the power of humanity, and I believe in my power to make that happen. So, that's what I believe, and I'm willing to stand for it.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you so much. That was awesome. I mean, we knew you would be the guy that should open this up. I mean, you've been doing this, you live it, you love it, and got some great stories. If we could probably hear these stories for 24 hours. You've done so much, right?
Indeed. Some amazing things.
No doubt about it. Hey, Julie or Dacia, any questions for Jim? Oh, let me unmute you, Dacia. Go ahead.
All right, so Jim, I want to come find you right now and let's have some conversations. It's really exciting to hear what you're doing.
Sure.
What I love about what you said is I hear the passion in your voice.
Yes.
So a lot of people can talk the talk, but it takes special people to walk their talk also. So I hear that passion. I myself am an innovator, an educator. I taught for 20 plus years and then moved into the director of science and curriculum specialist, and then decided that I wanted to work directly with teachers who would be able to impact students. So I thought for a moment I would be sad about that because I'd be leaving a classroom and I wouldn't have 25 students to be with. And then all of a sudden, I realized my reach has gotten greater. It's gotten exponential. And I think that's what's happening with you. Your reach is huge. And that just makes me so happy. Julie, I know that you are thinking right now that you're glad you hooked up with Jim when you were 9 years old, right?
Yes.
adorable at
Yes,
9.
I am. People question him about hooking up with a 9-year-old. No, I'm just kidding.
Boy.
Bad. Okay, so Jim is one of these people that I think for the first 5 or 6 years that I worked in the same environment with him, I didn't know him as anything other than, who's the guy with the fedora who walks? He was at every program we had, always there and willing to be a judge and much more. So very, very proud when he became the board president for the Ohio Invention League, because he's the exact kind of person you need in a spot like that. I mean, he inspires youth in his everyday work at the Pass Foundation, and he just continues that same philosophy with everything he does with Invention League. So very happy you could be here today. Were you talking about Kenichi by any chance? With the water purifier? Kenichi is one of our guests as well.
Oh, lovely.
You'll have to look at the schedule and see what time he
I
comes
will
on,
look at the
because
schedule. I will be
gotta
there.
remember, and that way you can send in a whole bunch of YouTube questions for Kenichi too.
Listen to this child. He has it going on.
He does. He's really good.
And we are going to be talking to a lot of students today that are coming up with great ideas. They're sitting at home during this time of challenge and thinking, what can we do to save the world? So I'm sure that if they wanted to reach out to you or even share now, or Carmine too, how is that process? I mean, what do they do if they have these great ideas? What should they do first?
That's a great question. So they can follow me on Instagram at JSBruner, or they can reach out to me on LinkedIn, which I highly recommend. At LinkedIn, my user account is Jim Bruner, and just search for me. You'll find me. I'm always in a bow tie, a real bow tie, and I'm always in a fedora, and I can tie it in 20 seconds because I've been doing it my entire life. It is my brand.
No inventions for that.
No invention for that.
Hey,
So go ahead.
No. So Jim, and I know you do this. Is there any live events that you will be at that people can see you?
I generally don't. I stay behind the scenes and make things happen. As Sultan of Systems, right?
Yeah.
There are more live events coming. I don't know what they are, but I haven't actively pursued those because my passion lies with Invention Convention and at the Past Innovation Lab, where we develop programs for teachers, and now for teachers and educators and parents and kids at home, all online in response to the COVID-19 crisis. That's what we do. PASS is an acronym, just so you know. It stands for Partnering Anthropology with Science and Technology. So anthropology is just a big Greek word. Anthro means people or culture. Pology means study. We study people. And kids, we study the way humans learn through play, because that's how all humans learn. That's how you learn to talk. That's how you learn to walk. That's how you learn to ride a bike. That's how you learn not to touch fire. You learn all those things by experimentation. So that's why invention and this whole process is so critical to me, because it is the fundamental way that we as humans interact with each other. We push, and it breaks, and then we fix it, and then we do it again. So most of my work is done through the Pass Foundation, and I'm always behind the scenes because I make things happen.
Hey,
I'm the SWAT team.
Hey, Jim, over your years of doing this, we've all been doing this a long time. You've been doing it for over 20 years. We talked about when you first came on. What's the difference in types of inventions and types of worries and things that, because some of the inventions that when I speak with young adults, some of the inventions they create are things that they might be worried about or concerned about the environment, or maybe things their parents are experiencing. Have you seen a difference from your 20 years?
Absolutely. Especially in the last 7 years, I've seen a rapid uptake in app-derived inventions. Kids they live on the internet, they live on social media, they live on their phones. So they develop these apps that help them understand and control the world. They didn't grow up in the world that I grew in that was what an information scientist calls analog, where everything you had to bring in yourself. You went to a library and you read books and you gathered knowledge. Now you have the sum total of human knowledge right there. And so it's different for them in that way. The second one, and it aligns very, very closely to the 3 crises I talked about. Technology, number one. Number two is climate. Kids are really concerned about the world they're about to inherit, and they know it. They know it. They're inheriting a really sick planet, and they're very, very passionate about that. And then the third one that I mentioned had to do with the way that we interact with each other. They don't really understand the idea that every human has three facets to them. A facet is like a side to a geometric shape, like a diamond. The first facet is what they intend. And all our intentions are almost always noble and pure and good. Then there's the facet of their action, what they do. And then the last one, which most people never consider, is the impact. Oh, I didn't mean to hurt you. That doesn't matter. You hurt them. And a lot of the inventions have to do with the realization about compassion and empathy, that I had an intention, there was an action, that action's bad, and now I want to fix it. And that is a critical human skill in the 21st century. One of the top 5 for sure. Creativity, compassion, curiosity. People, the kids, they want to help. They don't want people to hurt. And I've seen a drastic increase in inventions on those 3 fields, to answer your question.
Awesome. It's so great. That's one of the great parts that we love to speak with veterans that have been doing this for a long time, because you've seen so many different things, so many inventions, but the kids, across the world, they're all worried. Seems like about the same thing, just in different ways. So, Jim, thank you so much for being on. If you'd like